Thank you, sir, for accepting this request to talk to us. This is Rahul Reddy, the Bangalore Head of Career Launcher. I have with us the Director of IIM Bangalore, and we'll discuss the newly announced program, which is the online BBA program. Sir, last time when we met, we talked about the UG program at the new campus, which is an in-campus program. We also are aware that there are 5 IIMs which are offering an IPM program. You spearheaded the first one. So how is this program different and in terms of objectives?
Yeah, so our program which we are planning to offer in the physical format at the new campus, that actually is not focused on business management. That is intended to focus on 4 disciplines: economics, behavioral science, data science and sustainability, with management or entrepreneurship mainly as a minor. This program is that way quite different. This program is to use the significant expertise and experience we have built over time in online education to offer a high quality, world-class online BBA program to students across India. So I think the objective of this is somewhat different. In this, we don't want to offer just a plain vanilla BBA program. We have 2 very clear focus areas. One is digital business, the other one is entrepreneurship. There are very clear reasons for that. Today, if you look at the Indian economy, it is largely being driven as a digital economy. And we see most of the new employment opportunities in the years ahead coming either from businesses which are already digital or from businesses which are integrating and incorporating digital technology into their business. And all these companies are going to require a lot of people who understand the interface between tech and business well. So this is the one part of it, which is the digital business part. The second part is we believe that given the growth potential of the Indian economy, we need a lot more people with entrepreneurial ideas. They may be entrepreneurs in the sense of starting new companies, but they may also be entrepreneurs within companies as well. They may be intrapreneurs, which essentially means they can identify new opportunities, they can come up with an idea to address them, they can build a good growth plan, and then they can execute it. So that's why we believe that this combination of digital business and entrepreneurship is a very important combination, and it could be useful to people across different disciplines. It might be useful for engineering students, it might be useful for a humanities and social science student, but it could have a lot of value to students across the spectrum. We wanted to reach out to a good number of students because obviously in India, anything you do on a very small scale, it's very limited. You can't have the kind of impact which you want to have in a physical format, however much you may want to. So that's why we decided we would offer this program online, and this way we will be able to reach out to a much larger number of students across the country. Also just realize there are broader macro things as well. We all know that India has a lot to do in improving the gross enrollment ratio. We certainly want people to become more employable. So all of these are also at the back of our mind as we design this program. So I don't want to comment on IPM programs. As you rightly said, I have been involved with them. I think IPM has its place, but this is a very important niche for us. We think that there are literally thousands of talented youth across the country who need to translate their inherent potential into something they can contribute to the economy and also themselves. And this is the mix of knowledge and skills they require to build a career going forward on 3 pillars: digital technology, management, and entrepreneurship.
Wonderful. So you referred to a lot of expertise that has been gained in running these online programs.
Sure.
Can we talk about some learnings, like what have we learned as an organization in how to make effective online programs?
Sure. So just to give you a little bit of background, we started offering online courses on the edX platform a little over 10 years ago. And over these last 10 years, we have offered more than 70 courses. Some of them have been ranked among the top courses globally. So this gives us confidence that we have learned something about how to offer good online programs. Now, there are a few things I think which stand out. One is that if you want to offer a good online course, the course should be made and designed for online. It's not that you take something that was designed for the classroom, just shoot some faculty teaching in the classroom and put it up on the net. That's not online education. Online education is where you understand the medium, you understand what potential it has, and you design and shoot and curate the content to suit online medium. So we have our own internal capability in this regard. We have 35 to 40 people in our digital learning team. They are the ones who produce all the content. We have experts in instructional design. We have experts in video editing, photography, everything. I mean, cameraman, everything. We have the whole thing in-house. So we are not depending on some third party to do this. What have we learned over the last 10 years? I think what we have learned is, firstly, that you need to create this specialized content. Secondly, and I'm sure that's a question you're going to ask anyway, it also means that we have to pay attention to engagement. Now, clearly, we know globally that in standalone MOOCs courses, completion rates are not that great, and this is a challenge. And particularly with a program like this, where our students are going to be youngsters, just out of school, or they could be older, but potentially they could even be just out of school. We need to do a lot to engage them in the classroom. So there are multiple things. We're going to make the content very interesting and engaging. We are looking at a lot of projects. We are looking at internships. We are looking at some challenge contests which they can participate in, using the content of the program to come up with good answers to the challenges. We are going to create groups of students so that they can interact with each other online and participate in these activities. Depending on the physical distribution, we'll also look at the possibility of doing some physical outreach to the students if it works, and if there are well-identified pockets where we can reach out to them. We have also been, I think, quite influenced by the data science course at IIT Madras. We have been in close touch with them. We have learned about some of the areas where they have done well. We've also learned about some of their challenges. And so we, I think, are reasonably well prepared to address all of this. We have offered already 1-year certificate programs. We have one called AI for Managers. We have another one on hospital management. Of course, these are for slightly older learners. But we think even from that experience, we now know a little bit about what is it we need to do to who can engage the students so that they are motivated to continue learning with the program.
One slightly different thing is the perception. So perception in India for online degrees has not been that good. I think a lot of fly-by-night operators, small institutes have not delivered. So would that be a concern? How do we address the concern of parents especially, saying that, look, will this degree have value because it's online?
Yeah, so I think there are two parts to that. One is, what is our credentials in this regard? And as I just explained to you, I think we are very serious about this. We are the national coordinator for management for SWAYAM, which is the government's platform. We have 10 years of experience working with edX. We work with other government platforms as well. So we have invested significant resources. There's no fly-by-night here. We have 10 years of intense investment in people, technology, and the whole gamut of what is required to produce good online content. As far as the broader perception is concerned, I think that's changing. If you look at it globally now, in many countries, online programs are on par or nearly on par with classroom programs. Some universities are even charging the same for online programs as they would for an in-class program. Perceptions are changing even in India now. If you look at it, the UGC has very clear guidelines for online education, and the government is encouraging institutions to offer good online degree programs. So I think with time, particularly when an institute like ours gets involved, IIT Madras has already set a good example. We hope to do as well as them, or perhaps even much better than them. So with all of this together, I'm quite hopeful over time the perception of online education will become much better.
So I think you did touch upon this a little bit earlier about people who are already working, already taking up actual degree, working on an actual degree. Would the time management be a problem? What kind of time inputs would be required for this course on a, let's say, weekly basis?
So let me just put it a little differently. So I think there are different potential audiences for this program. One potential audience is the one you just alluded to, where you are already doing a degree. It could be in engineering, it could be in science, it could be in humanities, and you think that the basket of knowledge and skills you will pick up from our proposed program will be a good complement to what you are already getting. Now, just note one thing, that we have given some amount of flexibility in the sense that we have said, though it is a 3-year degree, you can take more time if you, for example, need it. So you could take up to 6 years to complete the degree program. We are also offering flexible exits at all the different stages. So if you complete the first year successfully, you could exit with a certificate, second year with a diploma, and of course, if you complete the whole thing successfully, you will get a degree. So I think all of this allows enough flexibility for somebody who is already doing a degree. If this subject and if this content and this whole basket of knowledge is relevant to them, I think it would really make a lot of difference to them. Will it involve additional effort? Of course, it will involve additional effort. That goes without saying. But the reason we are offering it online is to give flexibility. So even if somebody is doing another degree, I mean, you could do the classes on Sunday, you could do them, at night, early in the morning, whenever your schedule permits. So that's flexibility, I think, is what will enable people to find the time to do the program. So I am hopeful that students even students in other programs will consider this program. So that could be one set of students. Of course, another set could be, for example, somebody who's working. So let's say somebody is working in a startup and they think this basket of knowledge and skills will help them do their job better. They could also enroll, and I think they would be able to get good benefit out of this. You could also be somebody who's an older learner who would like to maybe retool or reskill yourself to get into a new area. It could be useful to them as well. And of course, finally, it could be an option to somebody who just says, this is the program I want to do. Of course, many people have asked me and have asked us, now if you do an online degree, you miss out on other social activities, you miss out on, maybe interacting with other students. Now, all I can say in that regard is we perfectly understand that learning is a social process. We will try to create mechanisms for the students to interact with each other. Of course, these will be online mechanisms. If they want to do this as their only degree, then they may need to find other outlets for sports and so on. This cannot be the way of, unfortunately, doing all of that. But you will, I think, certainly create a good network here. You will get to know a lot of students across the country.
It is possible that somebody could do this course plus maybe internships and try to get that aspect. What I do like about this program is the limitation in intake. While yes, the ambition is to make an impact on India, but to start with, the limitation impact also suggests that you're taking serious students or taking students with certain level of ability. One of the problems we've seen with other online programs is that there was no limit or cap on the intake and all this thing. So would that involve just the test or also an interview process?
So this year, I think we have been very clear. This year, we are going to select based on the test performance. There is a certain minimum requirement as far as 10th and 12th is concerned, but that's only a qualifying requirement. We will select based on performance in the test. In future years, we would like to offer the option of people taking other tests as well. So that's something we are actively looking at. So hopefully from next year, somebody who has taken CUET or JEE will be able to apply for this program even without taking our test. But this year, just to have a standardized way of evaluating the students, we are going to go only with our test. No, there's no separate interview.
and some details of the test if it is decided.
Yeah, so we will be releasing all of that shortly. I think we are just, the details are almost ready. We will release it at the same time to everybody.
Would be an aptitude test.
It will be a typical computer-based test, and you can guess what kind of things are likely to be asked in that test. But we will release the details once the application process is open.
So the understanding being it is open to people of all streams of 11th and 12th.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there a maths requirement in 11th and 12th?
No, I mean, at least to apply for this program, there's no requirement. As long as you have cleared 10th and 12th, and we have, I think, set some minimum cutoffs. As long as you meet that, you're fine. You can take the test.
Yeah, one I read.
You can take the test.
So, again, this small question on being open to only Indian nationals, given that there is a global recognition for the institution, is there any thought behind it, or will later?
No, I think this is the first year. In the first year, we just wanted to keep the complexity at a reasonable level. So we thought that it's best to just open it to Indian nationals. We are an Indian institution, and we are, of course, an institution created by the government. Our primary focus is towards meeting the learning needs of Indian students. As this program grows, matures, I'm sure we will open it up to others. But this year, it's open only to Indian students.
So I did read that they were talking about 2 live sessions and some tutoring sessions. So these will be done by the faculty in charge of a particular program or course.
Yeah, so as I said, we will have multiple forms of engagement. So while we want to balance 2 things, we need to give flexibility because people need to be able to learn when they want to learn and when they have the time to learn. So the core content will be largely asynchronous, recorded content. But at the same time, we know for engagement, for answering questions, to improve the sort of human interaction, we do need live sessions as well. So every course will also be accompanied by a certain number of live sessions to complement what is there in the recorded content, plus a whole lot of other activities that I mentioned to you earlier, challenges, projects, internships. We'll also bring in some gaming, simulation, wherever it's relevant. So we're going to use a whole plethora of different modes in order to enhance engagement with the program.
One thing that comes into a program is the grading and the assessment part. So which actually tests what kind of learning that they've taken on. So how do we do grading and assessment for a program of this nature?
Yeah, so I think there are 2 parts to that. One is, of course, the more routine assignments and so on, and the other one is the exams. We are quite clear that we want to maintain very high academic standards. So as far as the exams are concerned, we will hold exams under proctored conditions, which means we will work with a service provider who will conduct exams across the country in different exam centers. This is the way we can ensure that high quality exams are held, that the testing conditions are the same for everybody. And clearly, for us, our whole brand is based on the integrity of our process, on the quality of the evaluation. So we want to maintain all of that. So to do all of that, we will make sure that at least all the bigger exams are all done proctored and in test centers. But the test centers will be spread across the country so that students, wherever they are located, should be able to find a test center which is not too far away.
We do have the experience of CAT, which is...
Yeah, and we have other experiences also. So there are providers who can do that, and we will use those providers to conduct exams across the country.
Coming to placements, which is something top of mind for a lot of people. While yes, there is no direct in-campus kind of placement, what kind of support can be expected in terms of...
Yeah, so we have a few things in mind. The first thing we will do is we will work very hard to make this program visible to prospective employers. So we will ensure that we market it well so that corporates, smaller businesses, startups are aware of what this program does and what they can hope to get from the students who are graduating from this program. That's number 1. Number 2, we will try to create a platform to link recruiters and students. So as you rightly said just now, there is certainly not going to be a campus placement process of the type you have in IIM for MBA programs. That's not feasible and that's not planned either. But what we will have is some way of linking the students with potential recruiters, and the form we are thinking of right now is a digital platform which will enable recruiters and students to connect with each other. We will look at other modes and methods as we go along, but at the moment, these are the two things we are looking at very actively. One is creating more visibility, and the second one is creating a platform to link recruiters and students.
Something that you've already mentioned, but just to be clear, for postgraduate admissions, would this be enough, and would there be any perceptual bias against intake in postgraduate program, like an MBA program?
It's difficult to say how it will evolve. All I can say is what I said earlier. We will put in our effort to offer a very high quality, very strong immersive learning experience online. We will do our best to ensure that the students meet the learning objectives of the program. If we do that job well, which I'm confident we will, then the students will be well prepared for both higher studies as well as the job market. There is certainly no regulatory barrier to going from an online bachelor's degree to a master's degree. I think if you just remember, even when IPM started all those years ago, initially recruiters were not placing it maybe on par with a MBA. But over time that has changed, and recruiters today look at IPM as a perfectly good qualification. Yeah, so I think in the same way here, there will be a bit of a learning curve. I think employers will also have to experience the skills and the contributions of the people who graduate from our program. And over time, they will certainly see that this is a very powerful program. Similarly, for a postgraduate admission as well. So I think this is I think to be fair, these are things which will evolve. We will do the best from our side to inform and communicate what this program is all about, what the students are capable of doing, and hopefully that will dissipate any doubts which either recruiters or postgraduate institutions may have.
One broader question, if we look at this, so would you see evolution of this program as something that will go scale up from 1,000 to more? And is there a plan to have similar programs? I mean, let's assume that this is successful as you have planned it to be.
So as of today, we don't have any other similar program on the drawing board. So I can't say what will happen in the future, but as of today, we don't have. Yes, certainly if this is successful and if the demand is big enough, we will look at scaling it further in the future. But at least this year, the number is 1,000 as we have already indicated.
One last question. Since we are here, I know this broadly is about this online BBA program, but an update on the in-campus 4-year UG program as to...
Yeah, it's very much on the cards. It involves significant creation of physical infrastructure because, as you know, we are planning to do that in a new campus, not in the current campus. So that means we have to build out the whole thing, including classrooms, offices, hostels, sports facilities, recreational facilities, and so on. So that's a big project. I mean, it's just like building a new university. So it is taking a little longer than we expected because we have to get all the resources together and then we have to translate that into the new campus. So that's going to take some time. We are still hopeful we'll be able to start in 2025, but I think I'll be able to confirm that to you only in a couple of months' time.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we've got all that we have answered, and we would really see this program as something that both students and parents would consider very seriously. Yes, as you said, it's not just students in graduation, but people at different age groups who probably look at as a skill booster. Thank you.
Yeah, I think so, because overall, if you look at it, the country has a huge requirement for talented people. And the one thing which continuously amazes me is there are companies who are constantly saying we are not getting the people we want. And there are literally thousands of people saying we are not getting a job. Why is that happening? Because there's a mismatch between what the companies are looking for and what the students have to offer. We are in our modest way trying to bridge that gap.
Great, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.